Hi, everybody. Welcome in. I think I'm going to air this on Wednesday. And if I do, happy Wednesday to everybody. Me and Jeremy had our sale last evening, and it was fantastic. So thank you so much for going over and supporting that. Anyways, today's video it's just a fancy show and tell. I kind of wanted to go back to my roots with these videos, and I just wanted to show you some necklaces that I really loved. This is kind of a natural progression of my collection. It's not in chronological order, but it kind of shows you my mentality of how I collected and what I bought. This first necklace is a William Spratling necklace. I believe it's from 1968 or 1969, and it is sterling silver, and it's the iconic hands with the equality and yin yang symbol in the center. Absolutely love this for balance and equality of life and the flow of energy. And it is azure malachite is the inlay. They also made this, the studio also produced this in tortoiseshell. And basically, the hallmarks on the back, that's the conjoined William Spratling mark. So please look at that very, very carefully. And that's the Eagle SA mark as well, which I believe is maybe that is a 65 or a, let me make sure, let me get my loop out. And thank you so much for joining in. I kind of, dive right into this to get started. It looks like 65 in that Eagle. And this chain is absolutely remarkable as well. And you can see it's heavily oxidized because I wear this quite frequently. But look how large this is. Had been in a past video, but since this was my favorites, I kind of forgave that. This tray was a gift to me. It's fused art glass, and Tanya at My Jewelry Addiction, we all know my affection for Tanya, but look at this fused glass tray that she sent me. And after she sent it to me, we Googled the artist and we figured this out, and it's really expensive. So Tanya, thank you so much for such a generous gift. We kind of laughed about it, and I said, I can send it back to you if you want it back. So Tanya, thank you so much. And my favorite color is orange. Everybody knows that. And this tray is so beautifully fused and in perfect rows of art glass. And I loved that kind of iridescent and almost checkerboard design and undulation of the surface. It looks like woven fabric, but it's all fused glass. I wish you could see this in real life because it's 10 times more beautiful. And I do use this to contain some of my everyday jewelry that I wear. So Tanya, thank you for that. I'm going to leave that in there for a minute while I show you some more. This has been with me since I was in high school. And this is, I believe, Austro-Hungarian for origin. I love the old chain, so I loved that. And then this is silver, and it does have heavy oxidation and was partially gilt back in the day with gold. But what I loved about this is the wear, how that foil underneath the stones has turned color because of oxidation. So those stones would have been foil backed. Water has gotten under there and changed that color. So basically, someone would think of that as a flaw. An advanced collector would say, well, those are, you can't fix that. You have to unset those and fix the foil. And that imperfection became my perfection. Those are citrine and rock crystal, quartz, and look at the depth of those stones and so carefully bezel set. I have always loved cross medallions or amulets, and this was out without exception. I loved the step-down bail. I love the intricacy of the back. This one spoke to me volumes. I would say circa dating on this would be right at the turn of the last century, 1900 to maybe 1910. But again, someone else would consider that, imperfection. They would say, well, since the foil has turned color under there, but it to me made it look like moss agate. It made it look like another gemstone, that it truly wasn't because of the oxidation on the surface of that silver foil underneath the stones. So I hope you understand why sometimes imperfection, to me, is perfection. And that's a perfect example of it, and I've worn that for a long time. We'll go with this one just because it's within reach. This is Dr. Amori stone, or it's also known as Victoria stone. I've covered this before, but I've never shown this pendant. It is artist signed. It was made in the United States, and it's so beautifully crafted. I love that asymmetry. Love the simplistic sterling chain. Very directional. I have worn this as well. Handmade bezel. So they cut down into that bezel to create that sterling silver bezel. And I thought that stone for a Victoria stone or Emory stone, and that's Dr. Emory. Look that up because that stone is being overlooked, and the prices continue to go up because the recipe to make that stone is lost. Another interesting piece, and I'm going to try and do this and see if it works on camera. It may not, but this is a very unusual quartz pendant, and look inside. I don't know if you saw that, but watch inside. See, watch inside the stone. There's a little air pocket, and watch. Watch it move. See it? That is a little air pocket trapped. See it go around? There it goes. Watch. Here we go. Watch the little bubble. There it moved again. So that is called anhydro. So that's a little tiny piece of trapped air. Let me see if I can put the loop up to this and get a real close look at it. Let's see here if we can do this way. We might be able to, and we might not. I might cooperate, and it very well may not. Look at that little trapped air. See it move? See it move? See it? It was moving, and that little trapped air moves within that. It's called anhydro. So that's ancient water that's trapped inside of this natural quartz stone. This was mounted in China, sterling silver. Loved the snake chain that this was originally on, so I left it on there. I bought this pendant for $8. And they didn't know that it was anhydro. Some of these anhydros, let me put something dark behind it so maybe you could see that water roll a little bit better. Let's get a price tag from the thrift store. Let's see here. So not prepared today, but I had to come on. Let's watch that water. There. See the water move inside of that? Watch real close. You'll see that water rolling around in that ancient water. Right in the center of the stone. See, it looks like a little ball of mercury. Nope, that's trapped air inside of ancient water. Anhydro. Anhydro crystals are kind of a rarity, especially in quartz like this. And this was a revered object. Very much so. I won't sell this for any price. This is just simply not for sale. But anhydro, so always check your quartz and see if that little trapped air is rolling around in there. Because see that little bead right in there? It's just rolling around. It's like having a field day in there, running around in its little gymnasium of quartz inclusions. So that's trapped water inside, and that's a piece of trapped air inside of that water that travels like it's just so amazing to see that happen. I could talk about that forever, but that's very powerful, and I do wear this one as well. So look for anhydro in quartz, and maybe that's the thing that you learn the most from this. This was a beautiful, absolutely beautiful Virgin Mary. Very large, chunky, sterling silver. I believe this is by Creed. Most things that are produced in sterling that are religious are by Creed. Mass produced, but beautiful. I loved that depiction, and I loved the oxidation. I didn't mind the spotting. It almost lent itself to stars. And I know that people are like, no, that's just oxidation. Well, to some people it is, but to me it was stars. To me, it was a universe around this central figure of religious faith. And I needed her a lot of times, so I wore that frequently. This one I had shown before, and it's in a dusty box, but this is the Demantoid Russian Garnet one. And this is a favorite, so I wanted to show this in case people had missed this in the previous video. Demantoid Garnet, Imperial Russian, loaded with hallmarks all over every piece, but very, very large. Enameled leaves and green garnet. Demantoid or Demantoid, however you wish to pronounce it. Like I said, jewelry's not a fight, so I don't correct anyone, especially when it comes to pronunciation of things. But that was one of my favorites for that. And this is an Edwardian filigree, 14 karat gold and diamond. It's on a 14 karat gold chain, and the chain is older. It's not original to the piece, but it's older. But I loved these diamonds. Very beautiful, and I love that this started life as a pendant, because 99% of these are the brooches, are a bar brooch. And this one's always been a pendant because, again, the asymmetry of that, if it was a bar brooch converted to a pendant, it would be the same, same shape all the way around. This has always been a pendant. Beautifully done. Let me show you the craft on that. Look at the under gallery. Pay attention to the undercarriage of such things. Hand engraved and hand pierced. The construction of antique pieces really takes my breath away. And I talk about that when I pick on contemporary pieces. I pick on them because there's lacking craft or the design is clumsy. And that's the only reason why I pick on contemporary so much, is because the craftsmanship just isn't there for most of it. Now, there are some exceptions to that rule, but I've avoided that because I looked at the craft of these pieces, and as a metalsmith and a jeweler and a silversmith, my years of training made me look at the construction of such pieces. And who can deny that that's not one of the most beautiful and elegant pendants in 14-karat gold and diamonds? We have so many more to go. This was just fun. And I bring this on because people ask if I have these. I have a lot of these. These are the sterling and crystal necklaces. And I always went after the bigger or better versions because the smaller were easier to find. And the bigger, like this, with the more faceted stones and those sterling silver collars, those were harder to find. This one's about 24 inches long. Very beautiful crystal stones in this. A lot of fire and a lot of scintillation. So look at the quality of the way the stones are cut. When you look at these, really study them. Spend a little bit extra and get the one that you most want. I say that. I keep telling people, it's just, money is tight. It's not everywhere. And times are lean. And to buy something like this so beautiful, I just say to people, maybe save up just a little bit and get the one that's a step up. Just a little step up. Not that it's the best of the best, but just a little step up. And I think this was moderate back in the day. I think I paid maybe $25 for this one. So, just always be on the lookout for those, because sometimes they're confused for Swarovski, new Swarovski, because they did those. This is a Herkimer diamond in sterling silver, and it's a large gem grade Herkimer, mined in the late 1970s. And I kept this one out because I wore this a lot. So this is an Art Deco snake chain from Germany. It's from the late 30s or 40s on this one. I had changed this out on another chain at one point, and I liked that new and brutalist kind of look together. It had a little bit of a story, and I love the length of this because it's very close up on my neck. So I like that this is a choker style, but that Herkimer really got me in that brutalist, almost hand form of these leaves that hold that giant gem grade Herkimer. Herkimer diamonds are quartz crystal from Herkimer, New York, and I have a great affection for those. They do have an odd healing power about them, and I'm not sure exactly how to explain it. This pendant came to me years and years and years ago from the thrift store. It was $4. This is from India. I don't know the exact age, but I would guess it to be right around, I would say, 20s, 30s. Might be earlier, but what they were doing is they were coloring glass stones, and these are all glass. Those are not gemstone. These are all glass, and then they put colored foil behind. So they were going with emerald and ruby, but then water got in, again, water got in and lifted that colored foil. So that's an imperfection, but guess what? To me, it made it look like a natural imperfection in the stone. To a collector, they would say, well, water got in there and ruined that. No, water got in there and made it better for me. For me as a collector. And it's all about personal taste. This is articulating on this bail, which is lovely because that moves up and down. Sterling silver. There are some hallmarks. Probably export or import marks right there. I never really looked close at those. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And I did wear this, and you can see the uneven patination on the chain because I wore this one a lot. And I've always loved that kind of 3+1. Sometimes it's confused for paper clip chains. I'm not going to get into that now, but that's a 3+1. So there's 3 links and then +1, 3 links, +1. That's why they call it a 3+1. They don't call it a paper clip, they call it a 3+1. So enough of a lecture series there, but this is 800 silver. I loved how chunky and big this was. I wore that as a protective amulet as well. Some of these pieces, and I guess I can touch on that now, and I'll stay with the India theme. Well, let's clear this part of this box. And these had been seen before. So you know how I do this. I don't like to repeat myself. But when people have asked to see a specific again and have said to me, hey, could you bring that one piece back? No problem. These two are diamonds from India. This one is a gigantic rose cut diamond. That's been in previous videos. So if you want to see that one and study that one a little bit more, that's a gigantic rose cut. Silver foil behind, closed back set. So that's closed back. So there's no light going through that. And this is the other Indian one. And I show you these because I say about things having a past life and a past energy. This one was worn constantly. And look at those leaf-shaped diamonds. And the foil has turned brownish gray because there was silver foil behind these. Let me show you a comparison. So comparison contrast. So please be aware, I don't know where that other one went. I had it laid out. It's like, I know where it went. It's not in this box, but I'll show you one. So this one is glass stones in silver from India. Very large, very beautiful, pin pendant, very early, probably on this one. Well, the pinback was added later, so I'm going to date this around 1900 to, let me see the way these are set. Yeah, 1920, 1930. These are glass stones that have foil behind them, and the foil has yellowed. The center one didn't. I do have one more pendant. Let me go grab that, and I'll show you another one. I'm going to set those there, and watch me run across my house. Hold on. There's one more hanging out. Hold on, I'm going to go get it. Here I go. I'm going crazy. Okay, this one was on a lampshade, and it's pretty dusty. But this will give you a comparison, and I wasn't going to bring this one on. Let me wipe this off. This is really dirty. I'm so embarrassed, but this has been on a lampshade for a long time. So this one is glass stones. And you can see slightly the difference, and I'll get into the way these are set. But this is also from India and slightly older than this one. But so we see glass stones inset, and then they set diamonds the same way. So that's the diamond version. This is glass, and this is also glass, but made in the same technique of that pulky, foil-backed, Kundan set with foil underneath. These are just, let's see. Yeah, those are silver foiled and bezeled. This is more Kundan on this one, in style, in technique, I should say. Let me grab, I don't know what I'm doing here. Now I have to find the home for this one again. All right, here, let me put that one down. What a messy video, but you expect it. You are here because you wanted to see some of my favorites. And no matter how I get there, I know you forgive me. I know that you do. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. On to this, glass inset, really beautiful craft, and I loved the size of this one. So this is very large, and you can also wear it as a pin, but look at the silver work to reinforce this down here. There may have been, some sort of breakage down here, and that was like a later repair to get that back together. I forgave that because, again, that's the history of the piece. Someone might say, well, that's altered. This is a bad thing. No, that's a great thing because it showed that this was loved and revered and saved. Look at those stones. I loved the impression of this, but the energy on this wasn't quite the same as the energy on this. So I wasn't like, oh, I didn't like the glass version. That's not what I'm saying. The diamond version wasn't more important because it was diamonds. The diamond version was more important because the energy is off the charts. The energy is just amazing. Boy, what a dusty mess these are. Someone said you should lint roller them. And I said, well, they'll be dirty in a day, which is true. When you have animals, pet furs everywhere. Can't do anything about it. I live with it and I love it. I would say that my best accessory is cat fur, I would say. So, and I'm always wearing black, but again, almost made it 20 minutes without being derailed with bad humor. But look at that. Look at that. It's just amazing. And that was on someone for decades. They wore that in the shower. They wore that in bad weather. They wore that in good weather. They wore it in happy times, bad times. They wore this, constantly. They didn't take that off, and the oxidation is very pure, and that's gold. That one's 14 and 18 karat gold, and those diamonds, like I said, and it's very sizable. But I wear this, and this was revered. That was a revered and loved object, and although this diamond is larger and better and much more expensive, I would reach for this one. I loved this one because I bought it, obviously, but I would reach for this one. There's just something about the energy of the past energy on pieces. And sometimes I do feel, that love or that wear. Look, I love Tanya's tray in here for a beautiful backdrop when I hurry up and leave. There's nothing to look at. This is all enameled. It's David Anderson. It's sterling silver. I bought this really, really cheap, so I kept it. And it fit because a lot of times these are very small. And as I get older, my neck is getting bigger. I think my neck is shrinking because it looks like my head is sitting on my shoulders. I look like a lumberjack, or sometimes I look like a fire plug. So anyways, this is sterling, and it's 18 inches long, and it fits beautifully, and I really loved that color. I don't get into like lighter tones like this. I usually go for darker. This one just was very cool, and I loved spacing it with black. So fantastic craft, sterling silver. It's fully hallmarked. I don't know where the mark went. I don't remember which link was signed. I don't remember, but look at that for enameling, and it's perfect. So always make sure that you look at enamel close because it is a very fragile surface. But I brought that on for people that love enamel. This one, let me stay on, I guess I'll bring in 3. I guess I'll bend the rules. No, I'm going to bend the rules even more. I'm going to bring in 4 just because I want to. So we'll lay this one here. And thanks again, everybody. I hope you're enjoying this video because this is the best I've got for you today. I try my best. I'll say that much. And I know that you all know that. So these are all amethyst, and they're all considered, quote, lavalier or festoon style necklaces. And, we could fight over terms and go crazy and start attacking people, but there's no reason to do so. And I laugh because it's funny. I mean, I've seen some really ridiculous things on some channels of people being like, I'm the foremost expert, and when someone says this, they're wrong. It drives me nuts, So we all have our different perspectives, and that's refreshing. It's wonderful to see that, and I love my community for it. I love my viewers for that grace that they give everybody. These are collet or bezel set natural amethysts, and all 4 necklaces are amethyst. Look at this drop. What an incredible, almost briolet shaped amethyst teardrop. I loved this. This was very, to me, pre-Raphaelite. And not too many people say pre-Raphaelite in jewelry, but it has this female sensitivity, this sexy drop style with just such sinuous lines that filigree is extraordinary. Right around 1900. Look at the bail. Look at the consideration. Not just a jump ring. Not just a simple ring. Look at that bail. They match that kind of cannonball granulation. And if you want to call it canatile, I don't know if I disagree, but I would call it filigree. I would call that all filigree work. Very lacy, very feminine. And look at the 3+1 chain again. Sterling silver. And I just loved every part of the sensitivity of this one. And I think I paid up. I think I paid maybe I paid 300 or just over 325. Didn't care. Absolutely loved this, and I loved the size of it and just the sensitivity of it. Wish I could put clear paper behind it. It'd be a wonderful idea if I had clear paper. Let's see. Oh, this is a really dirty sheet of paper, so let's use this one. So look at that. Look at the filigree work. Just incredible work and craftsmanship to get that together. And the amethysts are just beautiful. So I really loved that. I just really loved that. I would say, yes, I love that. And then on to these 3. When I couldn't decide which one to keep, I kept all 4. And this one's amethyst and sterling silver, and you would think, that looks more contemporary. No, it's not. It's arts and crafts. And that's considered arts and crafts. When people start going nuts and saying, well, that sure looks Art Deco to me, it's okay. It's okay if you miss it by a couple years. But this toggle style clasp, very strong indicator of arts and crafts jewelry. That curb link chain, very strong indicator of arts and crafts jewelry. And then this festoon style. Wish I could go out a little bit with the camera. Let me lay that on my hand correctly. Look at that. Look at the festoon style chains and this central lavalier drop. 3 stones all the way down, and the most beautiful, saturated, true amethyst stones right out of the ground. Just absolutely beautiful faceting. And then this kind of Etruscan wire work with then granulation. That's more canna-teal, if you ask me, than just filigree. That's what I would consider canna-teal, and then also granulation. And in one of my earlier videos, I think I called it chantilly, because I was thinking of lace. And that was in one of my earlier videos. And then, I just laughed it off because when the camera turns on, sometimes as creators, our brains turn off. And I've always told people, I'll be the first one to correct myself. I don't need anyone else to do that. But yeah, that one, I loved that one too. And that one had a vibe and a shake all of its own. Getting to that, I think this one I have the strongest connection with. And sometimes when I show these things, a lot of you have responded to the energy on things or the past lives and picking up vibes and energy from a previous wearer. And this one to me did that. It just did. There's sometimes no explanation, but I had a connection. I had a connection between the previous wearer and, being able to acquire this. And, sometimes when Jeremy's shopping with me, he kind of looks at me like he knows something's going on. And it's almost like, am I having a conversation with somebody else sometimes? No, not really. But these are close-backed amethyst and foil-backed, which is very unusual to see. Very unusual to see closed back and then foiled. And this one almost looks like glass, but it's not because I see that color zoning of the secondary, almost ametrine. And then look at that one with the foil, and then marcasites that are bead set. Those marcasites have 4 little pieces of metal. When you look at marcasite, people have said, well, what's bead setting? That's when you take a little bead of metal and rock it over the marcasite. Those are bead set. Those are 4 little beads holding the marcasites in. Those won't fall out, like today's contemporary glued-in marcasite. You wear a marcasite piece once that's today and you're missing a stone. It's okay to replace them, and I'm not picking on contemporary marcasite, but it's just being truthful. And then this is the 3+1 chain again. So you got 3 links, and then, 3+1. 3+1 chain yet again. And really, early thumb clasp, that we talk about in the videos. When you see that, that's older. And I just loved the sensitivity of this with this very beautiful drop down. So, lavalier style. And I loved that, that was on the neck. And then they dropped that down from the chain. See, like that's just another thought process and another design element that made it more beautiful for me, made it much more feminine, much more pretty, thought process. And you can see that I leave the oxidation on these pieces so that they are purist and they are real. I have talked about this one once before, so I won't go too crazy and elaborate too much. Look at this clasp, how they designed that. Someone would say, well, that's contemporary from Bali. No, contemporary from Bali was looking at such things that were already created 100 years before. So be mindful of that. Look at that chain. Look at that chain, the way that is almost hand constructed. Beautiful clasp, and then comes down to this incredible pendant. Again, all genuine amethysts, really beautiful central stone. And I love this foliate scroll. Very female, very regal, very sexy, very beautiful. Wish it could tell its story. Wish it could tell about its past owner, because she was beautiful, and she had an artistic eye when she purchased jewelry or something was purchased for her. I loved that this mounting mimicked the rest of this. If this was just a teardrop without all of this, I would say, well, that's beautiful. But that consideration, that artistic eye that made that match this really spoke to me, because it pushes your eye back up to enjoy this. Jewelry that you can study for a while like this and see constant beauty is jewelry that would be considered timeless or important or beautiful. And the construction, look at the construction and the hallmark system, the way that every bezel was hand constructed for each stone, and then the way this is all completely soldered together by hand. True artistry. This one would be considered transitional, arts and crafts, and Edwardian on this one. Much more Edwardian. And someone would say it's so foliate, maybe it goes into Art Nouveau. So the overlap was very evident in those time periods, and that's why I always tell people, if someone labeled this one of the three, I wouldn't mind. You know, if someone called it Art Deco, I would say, you're gravely mistaken. It's not Art Deco. It's before Art Deco. And completely hand-constructed out of sterling again. I could talk about that one for a while. I do wear that and enjoy that as well. And, you know, I was never afraid to wear, you know, like, quote, you know, female style, because I didn't really think of jewelry had a gender. I just didn't think it did. This I wore in college. I bought this for a moderate price. I think it was $25 back then. But I was supposed to use, well, my mom's watching, I was supposed to use the money for books, and I used the money to go buy this. And then I had to borrow money from my roommate for my books. And sometimes jewelry really did control my life. And this was a prime example. But I paid James back within like a week, and he was like, "What did you need the money for? Jewelry?" And I said, "None of your business." So, but he knew. But look at this, lapis and sterling silver. Again, completely hand constructed, right around the turn of the century. Maybe, you know, maybe with the ball style clasp, like that little ball on there, I would say right around 19, on this one, 1915, 1918, and maybe a little bit older, but completely hand constructed, and gem grade lapis. And I know that you're all oohing and eyeing over these because these have been with me for a long time, and I haven't shared these in a video. I wanted to do them in a different configuration in a video. This one's aquamarine glass, so that is glass. It's not a genuine aqua, but the bow design and this garland of flowers, 3 flowers, made me just, I don't know how to explain this one. Its simplicity and its direction, much more leaning towards Art Deco with this one. Much more, I would consider this late teens and definitely early 20s. You know, not into the 30s Art Deco, not into that heavy-handed machine age, you know, but that transition between Edwardian going into Art Deco, you know, and I loved the simplicity of that. Sterling silver, and again, I did wear that quite a bit, and I haven't seen some of these for, I would say, over now 20 years. They've just been in the stuff, and this one's an exception. And I'll show you this one because I did wear this quite a bit. So we have a Virgin Mary, all gold, and she's yellow gold and rose gold and white gold. I usually don't like combining metals. Made an exception for her because she was just exceptional. That I bought and saved at the pawn shop. This was a gift. So this is 14 karat gold and a diamond, and it was a gift from a friend. So that was a good luck charm and a talisman. And this was also a gift from my friend Linda. It's 18 karat yellow gold, signed on the bail there, and it's the Italian horn, which is good luck. So I put all 3 together almost as like my faith, hope, and charity in a way, or reminding me of faith, hope, and charity along the way of my life. And I put it on a 14 karat gold chain. So I do wear this under my shirt quite frequently, and I don't normally have it on over my shirt, but this is normally on me almost at all times. So that because they were friendship pieces. Anything given to me as a gift, I really love. This was an Ankh, and this is enamel. It's Egyptian, and I loved the simplicity of this. At first, I wasn't so sold, and then I saw that enameled bail with the lotus, the Egyptian stylized lotus, and when I saw that color play with the 2 of them, I said, that I'm taking. And you can see how long that's been on me as well. Again, not polished, and I just won't. You know, people say, well, that's dirty. It doesn't look good. That's okay. For everybody else, that's great. You know, for me, I wanted to see the history, and I wanted to remember that it was a revered object that I wore, and that got me through a couple tough times in my life. You know, and I've talked about failed relationships. I talk about it for a reason, you know? I talk about that for a reason because then I got over it by wearing something like that. This one was also worn frequently, and it's pomegranates and leaves, arts and crafts, and there was something about this one and the previous owner that I had a connection with, and I can't explain it, so I won't. All arts and crafts, completely hand-constructed and hand-chased and reposéd out of sterling silver, not cast. So that's not cast, that's completely hand-fabricated. And a beautiful, what appears to be lapis. Yeah, it appears to be lapis in that gemstone as well. Very dark, very saturated, but look at that movement of the metal. Very naturalistic, and I love that it was asymmetrical. Look, it's not symmetrical at all. Severely, severely, severely so sinuous and tendrils, and the motion of it arts and crafts and beautiful on a very simple chain. I always left it on the chains that they were on. I never changed chains out. I have quite the collection of unusual sterling chains. This is more contemporary. So for those of you that I've lost because I went crazy with like the antique pieces, I bought this from Paris Jane. And Paris and me were friends for a long time. All diamonds set in sterling silver. And you already know from my past videos, my great affection for fire agates, a natural fissure. So I didn't mind this natural fissure. That's not a crack from being set. That's natural in the stone. And it doesn't go all the way through. It stops right there in the natural growth of this beautiful fire agate. But look at the color and look at the tiny bubbles. And it really was unusual to put that with diamonds. And again, I loved the shape of the stone. I just really loved that. Very natural, beautiful. I don't know what else to say sometimes. I know I repeat myself with adjectives sometimes, but I sometimes lose myself when I look at these because I haven't seen this for a while. So you'll have to forgive me, and you think of it as you will. And I love the beaded chain that I put it on. And it is longer. I think it's like 28. No, that one's like 30 inches. So it hangs down very low when I wear it. But I want it to be lower so it catches the light. Jewelry is meant to be seen. So I always try and make sure that they're at a premium or an optimal viewing, optimal viewing area on the body. And this one, for all my Art Deco lovers, I don't stay away from Art Deco. But when I do it big. And this was one of the best I could find. So at first I thought that was lapis. It's not. It's carved glass, the front view pharaoh. And then look at these Egyptian ankhs and the Egyptian symbol in the center made with silver and enamel, and so directional and so beautiful. Great hallmark system on the back, sterling, and all the hallmarks of the maker, which I've yet to look up. I didn't think it mattered. But look at this clasp. Look at this. Are you kidding me? A little mummy, a little silver mummy on the clasp. Now that's the Art Deco that I want, that's the Art Deco jewelry that makes me go crazy. That then I say, now let me look at Art Deco, and let me appreciate it for what it is. Highly stylized, bold forms, and like this, Egyptomania, Tutmania is what it was called when they started to open up those with, Carter, when he got into the tombs and started to excavate in ancient Egypt. And look at that, with the way the enameling is inset, made to look like stones. Really fantastic piece, and that made me very, very happy. So there's that one. And then staying on the same kind of line with that, this is a little bit more Art Deco, and I'm going to do a whole video on my Art Deco collection. It's a little bit smaller than the rest of my collections, but not by much. I didn't leave it out. I just didn't seek it out early. This one's fantastic. So this is a little harder to date because the festoon style probably puts it late teens, late teens, 1918, specifically on this one. And sorry to not focus this as the video starts to get messier and messier because I keep looking at the clock like, I gotta go to work. Sterling. And now that I'm on my own boss, I'm like, oh God, I gotta go to work. This is just fantastic. Beautiful everything, just the whole thing, and to have all three drops there, to have all three stone drops is just an incredible thing, an incredible survivor. And I wanted to show that because that's sexy and beautiful. And this one was a little bit more heavy-handed for Deco, so there's no denying looking at this, well, that's Art Deco. And I would say, you're exactly right. There's no transition here. Very graphics shaped stones. These are sugarloaf, technically. So that's what a soft sugarloaf looks like. And then this one's a faceted cabochon. I wouldn't consider that sugarloaf, but these are. That's sugarloaf for sure. Sterling silver marcasite, really beautiful construction. Very much so says, hello, I'm Art Deco, and I'm in charge. Do I need to keep this one forever? Probably not, Didn't strike my sensitivity, and it just didn't feel right to me. Like the past love, I didn't feel the past wearer on this. There was a disconnect for me on this one. So maybe that one, I am gonna, I just decided, and I've talked about this before in kind of elevating your collection or escalating your collection or refining your collection, that one I am going to sell. I just decided. A split-second decision. Once I touched it, I said, to myself, I don't have the connection on that. So I will be selling that. So that one's going to be sold. This one will never be sold. So this is an emerald and diamond pendant in 14 karat white gold. And this one I bought in honor of Jeremy when I first met him. That's his birthstone. And it's a hand. And the energy and the vibe, you can feel it, I'm sure. That says true love. It says loyalty. It says I'm with you forever. I get teary because that one resonates. That one means something, and your jewelry should mean something to you. Maybe that's the point of this video. I'm leaving that right here. Maybe that's the point of this video. Maybe it wasn't just about necklaces or my favorite necklaces. Maybe it was a little bit of a message, that might go a long way. This one's Art Deco style. I don't know exactly when this was made, but boy, it's got some age. It is artisan created, so this one would be very difficult for me to say, this is for sure this or for sure that. It sure looks Art Deco. Inlaid copper and sterling silver, and then they furthered the dots here with this very graphic and very bold inlaid enamel here. Loved this, that it was on a cord. So this says to me, yes, I'm direct Art Deco. I'm large and in charge, and someone worked on me very, very hard. I don't think this was looking at Art Deco. I think this is genuine. Some issue going on here. I'll get that cleaned up. But again, that is fantastic. Spin with me forever. I think that was $5. Sterling silver and copper. So marriage of metals, and then those rivets go all the way through. Really incredible design and craft on that. Very directional, very heavy-handed. Someone can't look at this and say, well, that's Edwardian. No. That's for sure Art Deco, That's very clear, very precise that's Art Deco. And then this one I show you, I've shown this before, but it's one of my favorites. It may have only made a short feed. I don't know if I brought it to a long feed, but if I do, please forgive me, but it's a favorite. So I wanted to show you one of my favorite Austro-Hungarian. This is 800 silver and sterling silver. It's pearls and natural sapphires, natural rubies, and natural emeralds. Just in this incredible, incredible large pendant with a ton of little drops. Look at those emeralds, look at the enameling, and look at that tiny little emerald at the end. Wish I could get the whole thing in the camera. Maybe I can squeeze it in. Let's see if I could put that on the back of my hand. There we go. Look at that. For Austro-Hungarian, and it goes up the chain, by the way. It doesn't stop at the pendant. But for Austro-Hungarian, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of such things. They're investments. They're investments for the future. And I mean that. Seed pearls all the way up the clasp, and it does have the original box clasp with the tiny little blister pearl. Incredible. And I think there's probably 12 different hallmarks on it. Yeah, there's some right there. And then if we look, I think there's, as I try and struggle to put this back in, I think there's hallmarks on the back of this one too. We could look for it. Look at that back with the tracery, enamel, and all hand engraved all the way down. Take a look at that work all the way down to that tiny little drop. They didn't need to put that on there. Did the artist need to engrave that on there? Are you actually kidding me? This is just the best of the best. That one is timeless and important and an investment. So maybe I'll do a video of timeless, important, and investment. Maybe that'll be the title. So, all right, there's that one. And then let's talk about, okay, I only have a couple more, so just bear with me. I'm almost done. Some of you are like, please stop. And then some of you are like, please don't stop. So look at this for articulating modernist. And I didn't pull a lot of the modernist pieces because I want to do a whole video on modernist. A lot of you have asked, and I hear the, I hear the cries and the cheers from everyone who's watching, my jewelry family and my jewelry friends, and I hear you. So this is convex silver, and then look at all these little convex discs that are soldered onto these free swinging wires. Look at that construction. It's incredible. Let's make sure it lays down right. Look at that. That is a story all of itself. Are we looking at something planetary? We're looking at something we've never seen before. And look at the one on the bail. Look at that, to where they were like, we're going to put one right here as well. This is incredible. Now, I think I could forgive it if I do put a little bit of a polish on this to make it more of a mirrored surface. It is signed up here somewhere. Let me take a quick peek where this one was signed. I should have looked at these much before I did this video, but I just hopped on because I was like, my friends will forgive me for being sloppy at some point. So, and it is funny. And, I had, like I said, I had 2 or 3 really weird days. Like, I wasn't smiling, I wasn't laughing, and I wasn't filled with my normal joy, and something took it, and I wasn't sure what it was. But I've got it back, and I'm still working on getting it back even more. We're going to leave that there. Okay, let's do... I talked about this in another video, so this is one of my favorites too, and this is the Tiffany. This is the Tiffany, an incredible gem grade. Look at those amethysts. That's the Tiffany 14 and 18 karat gold, and look at those amethysts. I had to bring it back. Someone said I could look at that for days, so there you are. To my friend who said that they wanted to see this again, look at the red and purple and the blue flash and those amethysts. Top gem grade, and signed Tiffany and Company right on the back. So that's old. Turn of the century. And look at the 14 karat gold metalwork. Look at the bail and the undercarriage. Incredible. And again, that famous 3+1 chain that I love. Absolutely, positively love. Look at what those stones do. I'm glad I brought this back. I'll be quiet for a minute, let you take it in. Just so beautiful, right? Just absolutely breathtaking. I love this, and I'm glad I brought it back. I wasn't going to. I'm glad I did. I dug that out of safety deposit. I'm glad I brought that back. We'll leave that right there. And then this. And then I think I have... No, we'll save the best for last. My most favorite. The one that's been with me the longest. This one, I bought in a box of costume jewelry, and they missed it, which is fine. It happens. So this is sterling. I think that's why they missed the rest of this. This is sterling silver riveted, but this is rock crystal. So this is not, leaded crystal. This is a briolet rock crystal riveted through, likely Chinese in construction on the crystal. So that's rock crystal, very cold to the touch too. Not glass, not leaded crystal, out of the ground rock crystal. Very clear, very clean, very beautiful stone. I wish you could see this in better lighting. So that's rock crystal. And then look at all this. This is all solid 14 karat gold. And it's a watch chain that they turned into a necklace. So this used to be a watch chain. The watch would go here, and this would go into like a stud or into the pocket or the vest. But look at the watch chain, and it is signed 14 karat. And it was tested to be solid 14 karat gold, but they missed it, and the color is that light yellow, because I explained before, white gold is not pure white. White gold is rhodium plated to make it white. This is what white gold looks like when there's really no rhodium on it. So that's a very pale yellow. Look at the solder seams again. All those links are soldered shut. A lot of these chains are gold filled. So don't always assume, oh, that's got to be gold. This one's marked right there, 14 karat. It's marked on the inside of this hook too, somewhere. It's marked on the, yeah, there it is. It's marked on the inside of that. So look on the inside of these as well. And you'll start to see some hallmarks. And just make sure it says 14 karat. And it does. 14 karat gold. And beautiful construction. So I wore that as a necklace. And then the pendant was in the front, off of this asymmetrical drop. So the ring, and then I just put this on so that I could wear that on a beautiful gold chain. And I liked it. I really liked that a lot, to wear that all the time. So we'll leave that we'll leave that there. One more. And I did this in 50 minutes. I never like leaving any of you. This one was one of my favorites. And this has been with me, I think, the longest of all these. Again, I can talk about its past and its past life, but I don't want to. I don't want to, so I won't. But this is agate, and I believe it's in like the more Bertoidal agate, because the formation here definitely looks like Bertoidal agate, and it's a picture agate, and it's got, and if someone says it's in the jasper family, I wouldn't go crazy, but these formations are very much so Bertoidal agate. In its formation of a stone. Look at the sterling silver mounting. And this is Purist Arts and Crafts yet again, right at 1900, maybe 1910. But someone picked this stone specifically because it looked like trees. It looked like trees with maybe a river behind, and it goes all the way through the stone. There is no backing on this, so light goes right through it. Light goes right through this. It's beautiful, is all I can say. And then this faux opal drop in sterling silver that's remained on there for a very long time as well. This one meant a great deal to me, and I wore this for I probably didn't take this off for 8 years. I got very fixated and very stuck on this. And I'm going to put it on white so we can kind of see it on a better background. Let me fold this in half. And thank you again for letting me slow down at the end and enjoy this, because sometimes, Thelma said to me, of Thelma Thrift, she said, we're worried you go so fast, you go so fast. Slow down and enjoy these, slow down and enjoy the time that you have with these. And I think Thelma's right. I think sometimes my chaos leads to me not enjoying the process. And I find so much joy showing you all these pieces, and I should enjoy them as well. So Thelma, thank you for slowing me down. That looks like water, and it looks like, these beautiful ancient trees and then sky, but that's just natural in the stone. Loved this kind of grassy area, very much so, about the magic of Mother Nature and the magic of gemstones. So hopefully you took something away from this video. I know what I took away from it. Experiencing past loves in jewelry that I haven't seen for a while. And it feels really nice, and it feels really good to slow down and to enjoy these pieces. So you know how I end it. I want to say thank you to all of you for all that you do for me. Thank you for the positive comments. Thank you for continuing this journey with me. I'm not sure exactly where or if this ever ends. This sharing and showing and caring and educating and laughing. And I just really have to say from the bottom of my heart, I hope you understand how sincere it is, that I truly appreciate each and every one of you. It just feels so right. And I don't know what else to say. I feel very loved, and I hope I return that to you. And I love you because I absolutely do.